Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about the baby daddy drama.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, cue dramatic background music.
There it is.
Yes. So I feel like everybody kind of has some baby daddy drama, even if your baby daddy is your husband or your ex or your baby daddy.
Right.
So I think Tara is chomping at the bit to take this one, so
Just a
take it
smidge.
away. Yes. You got some
So-
things to say.
I mean, for me, I just feel like I don't identify as having a baby daddy because he's literally not around.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like some people say, "Oh, I'm mommy and daddy." I'm like, no, I'm just bomb ass mommy.
Word.
Mhm.
So, I don't get help from him, but thank God for my amazing ass friends like Miss Crystal right here.
Love ya.
Yes.
And the
all
rest
my-
of us are chopped liver. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I didn't know y'all yet.
I know. It's okay. We'll
but
give you a pass.
Thanks. But like a lot of my girlfriends from college, they all came through in the clutch. Like Pampers, wipes. I literally still have Pampers and wipes to this day. Like, oh my God. Clothes. I got like 3 humongous bags of clothes from like doctors that I work with, tags on them.
And
So-
listen, she didn't want to have a baby shower at all.
Nope.
So we said, if you don't have a baby shower, how are you going to get the items that you need?
Yep.
So I literally just put together a virtual baby shower online
Facebook.
on Facebook. And we
Yeah.
had everybody send her things because at the end of the day, she needed the things for the baby. Like
Yeah.
the baby was the priority. We don't need the glitz and glam and pay all these thousands of dollars. And granted, we all have baby showers. We all
Right.
do it. But for her, the primary, focus was the baby.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So let's
Yeah.
rewind a bit. How did you get here? How did you get to having a baby daddy?
Whew, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Just to
So-
begin.
It all is. Judgment free zone.
Online dating is a hell of a drug.
That's
So,
one thing I'm
yeah.
scared of.
I mean,
Was.
I've had some successful relationships as far as like nothing outrageous happened. They just didn't work out. And then with this one, we moved pretty quickly. And then I took a plan B, and God was like, no, sis, plan A.
Stop. Stop it.
Surprise.
So plan B did not work.
no.
So time out. We have to
Wait,
unpack
wait.
this because wait a minute.
Let's
A
get
lot
on
of
into
people-
it.
Plan
Why
B's
not?
job is to work.
Yes.
Did
and
you
I
take
work,
it within
Did you take
the 3
it?
Let me
days?
tell y'all something. I work in the hospital. Some of my closest friends work in women's health. Hell yeah, I took it correctly. I did not drink any alcoholic beverages with it. I drank water the whole 3 days. And then this guy kept telling me, he's like, I think you're pregnant. I think you're pregnant. I was like, I think you're hating because I'm about to go on a cruise, buddy, and you're not going.
He probably put it in you before then and knew.
No, he told me. He honestly, it's super weird, but he told me. He's like we were talking, kind of arguing, and he's like, I'm like, did you try to trap me? And he's like, yeah, I did.
Oh hell
Okay,
no! That motherfucker needs
so-
to get a fucking whooping.
Right.
No, I'm happy the baby's here, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying
the way it went
that's
down.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did a dude who trapped you, admittedly,
Yeah.
then abandon you or whatever happened?
Right, yeah, that's what he
Okay.
did. First of all, he was not very forthcoming about how many children he had.
Mm.
Oh,
So-
so you could have had an idea already from the jump what kind of dad he was gonna be.
I mean, if I would have known the truth
Mhm.
before 7 months, then who knows?
Right.
I may or may not have been on this panel. You know what I
Right.
mean? So,
But your daughter was a blessing, as all children
Of
are,
course.
and was meant to
Of
be here.
course,
So
yeah,
yes.
I'm like, dude, you take a plan B and you still get pregnant. If
Yeah.
that's not a sign,
Word.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, all right, well, he had 1 kid, so I thought, and then it turned out that was not the case.
How many?
At the time, he had a son. That was the one I knew about.
Mhm.
He got a daughter who's supposed to be his first child. When I met his mom and his sister, one of his sisters told me he had another kid.
Girl.
And yeah,
So that people know of, it's like 3.
including my baby. Well, I don't know as far as what his people know, because he just tells people still he got 1 son. So,
Okay.
So this day?
yeah,
Oh.
So you gave birth,
yes,
and he was still in the picture, or
no,
okay?
nah. Things ended while I was pregnant, and I was trying to get through it. It was really, really tough, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like I know in my gut, in my soul, there's somebody somewhere who would trade places with me in a second.
Of course.
I know that somebody
Absolutely.
somewhere is going through some kind of terminal illness, or their baby is, and they got their husband, And they're probably looking at his ass like, I would get you the fuck up out of here if my baby could be healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just, so I told myself this shit sucks, but it could be way worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Way
Yes.
worse. And shout out to people who are going through some of those things. Like,
Right.
you know, but you just really got to be strong. I told myself, you don't have a choice, girl.
Yeah.
You don't have an option. That's how I was raised.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to raise my daughter. You do not have an option. Being strong is who you are. It's ingrained in you.
Yep.
So,
That's Yum Life.
yeah,
For real.
literally.
Yeah.
So,
And,
Yeah.
and we try to be the examples for our kids. Like, I know there's a lot of parents, and, you know, no shade here, but, you know, do as I say and not as I do. I'm the type of person that I want my kids to look at me and say, my mom did this. She didn't just tell me, you know, to be an entrepreneur or tell me to
Go
you
to
know,
school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I think that's really the message that, you know, this panel and this network does is we will give you the resources and help you out so that you can
Yeah.
be that example for your kids and for yourself and be
Exactly.
your best goddamn self.
Exactly.
And that's what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Sheree.
jumping in.
Yes.
Go ahead,
We're
girl.
moving here.
Right. So I have a little bit of a story. I have 3 kids, like I mentioned before. My first two was from my first relationship. We were together for 2.
So wait, how old are your kids?
Oh, okay. So Jay is 16. Denise is 8. That's how many kids I got. Kennedy is 1, right? So 1.5, right? So my first 2 was from my first relationship, and my last I didn't think was gonna come. It's from my last relationship. Overall review of my first relationship, it was great, and then it was really bad, and then I tried to rush and tried online dating like you because he already had moved on.
Oh, that's something to talk about.
Yeah, and I remember my son saying, "Mommy, I want you to be happy too," and it was around Valentine's Day, and I was like, "What? I don't got time for this." On my phone, it was I remember it like it was yesterday. I did eHarmony, and what's the other one? Some other
Tinder?
Not Tinder.
Plenty
the
of
other,
fish.
No, like
Yo.
it was 3. It was whatever.
They're not paying us
It
yet.
was for the weekend. It was 3 of them for the
One of
weekend because
them.
it was free. I was like, I'm not paying to meet some guy or whatever, but I didn't want to meet nobody from Staten Island, which is where I'm from, right? And
Charlotte.
so what I did was, it was like 3 guys. One guy who was like, yeah, I got a job opportunity coming up in California, but if this is going to work out, I don't think I'm going to move forward. I was like, you're weird. And then another guy who was weird. And then the last one, he was like, he gave me everything that I thought I wanted, which was attention, vacations. Like, you see the post. I was like out of the country twice a year.
Yeah.
Michael Kors, money, and his family owns a real estate. I'm sorry, not real estate. I'm looking at you. Thinking real
Gotcha.
estate tax company.
Got it.
So he only has to work 6 months out of the year. No kids, never married, and he's kind of like and he knows this, like a mama's boy, but he only had to do for him, so he just took on me, right? So
And your 2 kids.
and my 2 kids, it's like
That's a
and
blessing.
yeah, but they have a dad. But the thing is, he's a gamer, so he's real kind of like I'm the adult, and I'm older by like 2 years. I'm 35. Oh God, it's my birthday today.
Yeah.
Happy
36.
birthday, baby!
36. So he's 30 something, 34.
Yeah. He's somewhere behind it.
Somewhere, yeah.
He's behind me. So my major issue is his family, his mother, his sisters. Everybody was like, "Hey, he wants a kid." I'm like, I don't know if I could do this because my life was already got my credit, you know, my house. And I was like, I don't. He was like, I got this. All right, boom, pregnant. What happens? Doesn't get the job for MTA. Doesn't get anything. And now I have 2 kids in private school. My son, he's amazing. He's an honors student at St. Peter's. And then my daughter, you know, I'm trying to work everything out. And I'm still coming to like a ending with the ex from before, trying to work everything out with Cord and trying to get us back on a good page, which we are, thank God, because if you would have spoke to me maybe like 4 years ago, I was like, I hate that. But we're at a whole different other place.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Thank you. So anyway,
So why did you hate him? Can we kind of touch upon that?
Yeah.
Again, as much as you're
Yeah.
comfortable with.
No. Like, we were together for 10 years, right? And he and I got together when I was 18, turning to 19, and he was 4 years older than me, which is why I chose someone younger the next time. And
How did that work?
Cougar Town.
She flipped
like
the,
it.
the
Like-
formula.
Absolutely not. Without going too heavy into it, it was more so he had to experience other people. And I
Okay.
had
Yeah.
to realize that, we weren't where we said we were. And I mean, I did some crazy stuff, like without admitting, I don't want any felonies coming towards me.
Keep it to yourself, girl.
Not a
Yeah. Let's not convict
people-
ourselves.
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, like I don't want to.
Admit to
But the
nothing.
crazy things we do for love, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To try to, build that
I
relationship.
will say I did love him with all my heart, but I mean, it's like
Aw.
I would say like, I love you till death, do us part, and that would be like some scary shit because I mean I'll kill you. But
Right. All right.
Just kidding. That's a disclaimer.
We are moving along.
Yeah,
We
but-
all leave
but-
the room.
But no, his family and my family, we're good now. But the point is, go into baby daddy drama. The ex, when he didn't have the job, I was like, what are we gonna do? Because now I gotta take off from work, and I wasn't working at the time, and I was like, all right, I'm in banking. I'm gonna have to start pounding and trying to get a job, truthfully, because I was like, I can't afford this. And when he couldn't, when he lost the opportunity because of something silly he did, I was gonna plan to get an abortion,
Oh, really?
right?
Yeah.
And I was somewhere in Manhattan, lost because I don't know the city well. And I swear to you, I was on the table with my feet up, on the table, and I was wearing fuzzy slippers. I was trying to think of anything and everything, and I replanned that schedule at least 15 times. And God, I went into the bathroom, and I said, God, if you don't want me to have this procedure, please let a job come through, because I couldn't let my kids down, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't go back to being financially unstable, and I couldn't do it. So Chase called me, literally. I
In the
swear
bathroom?
swear to God,
What?
Cordelia.
Wow.
Swear to God, Chase
Wow.
called me for a financial advisor position, and I was like, all right, this is the sign. And then I was like, I still don't know, but I got myself up, and you know who I called? And God forbid, I had girlfriends or whatever, that I could reach out to, but the person I reached out to was my ex.
Shut
Stop
up.
it.
What did he
Wow,
say?
this
He
is
was like, you
juicy.
could
This
do
is
this.
crazy.
What?
He said, you could do this,
Wow.
Sheree.
Awesome.
You'll be okay.
Oh, you just gave me goosebumps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
girl.
Wow.
seriously.
Wow.
I'm about to cry. This
Yeah.
is
Right?
insane.
Oh my
Which
goodness.
is why I could be so like I
The
swear
power
like
of a unit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, you could do this, and I did. I had the baby. Me and the ex weren't really the best at me and my youngest daughter wasn't the best, because I was like, how could you put me in a situation that could financially impact me and my kids?
Right.
Although he loves them to death and he's still working on it. That's why we're on a TD,
TBD.
Yeah, to determine. But his
Oh, I'm
heart,
like TD Bank?
no, I work at TD, but
That's really strange.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
thought that's what she was trying to say. I'm
no,
Yeah.
but
No.
like he's
Their
super-
relationship status is to be determined.
until you
Yeah.
get your shit together.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but his heart, like he would jump in front of a moving bullet and was like, you just gotta walk through the door, the employment door. But
Pick
he-
one.
Yeah, but he works only half the year because he only had to. Now he's transitioning. I have to realize that he's a new parent himself,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a great dad. It's just the other part. So that's where I jump in. And I
Of
was like,
maturing.
Yeah.
So it's, and he's a little bit younger. So it's like, all right, whatever. And God, works in mysterious ways. I did not want to have a baby shower. I did not want to celebrate this baby. I cut off. And at the time, I was like, I'm going to do this all by myself.
Yeah, that was my mental
Yeah.
at the time, too, honestly.
But I have a really big family. My family's from the South, and they just
Oh,
wouldn't
that
let-
was never going to be
It
an
never,
option.
it never,
What?
it just wasn't gonna happen.
No.
So my sis, I delivered with my sister, my baby sister in the room. who was-
Oh.
That's what I did, too.
yeah, I literally took an Uber up the block because I didn't
I
want to.
took an Uber, too.
Yes, you damn
Yeah.
sure did.
Oh, my God.
I didn't want to
so
inconvenience
crazy.
nobody. And I
Shout
was-
out to
Me too.
sisters, though. Number
Yes,
one.
my sister was in Pennsylvania and flew her ass to New York to be right there with me.
She was
Yeah.
like, "What the hell is
Yeah.
wrong with you?" I waited to the very last second.
Me too.
And then
Oh my
the
God.
hospital's up the block, and I was like, I'm fine. I'm just gonna. In my head, I'm like, all right, it's like a schedule. It's like, all right, Mom, watch the kids and whatever. I'll be back
Right.
in like 2 days. Like, no problem. The kids are gonna go to their dads, and the baby will be here. not knowing I was gonna like almost like pass out because I was very anemic, and then I had blood transfusions and iron, and it was just insane. And my family was super supportive, and so was his family, like even more so, trying to be involved. But the drama comes from the financial part of it. So, but he's trying, and it is what it is. And eventually I'll talk about the ex. But he was after that. I was like, I could kind of like look back on it, like, all right, maybe this is where we were supposed to be.
Yeah.
We just have to go through the the Khalees knives.
Well,
all of it.
I can't, boy. So you were Khalees?
I was definitely.
And I was having your back, not knowing.
No. Like the part where you want to beat up the car. Like he was crazy. I was, but I'm crazy too.
And you were like, I hate you so much. Well,
shout out to Khalees.
Right?
Yeah.
I always say she did it for the culture. I'm telling you. People still sing that song out, girl.
I don't know, but if you listen to the Lost Tapes too, has anyone checked that out?
What?
Didn't finish
Okay,
it.
he vented a lot on there about his side of shit with Khalees. So I'm obviously, I'm all about the mom and the women, but I'm trying to see his side of it through that. So I don't know. Now I'm a little conflicted, but
now
I
I'm
always
gonna
loved
listen to
Khalees.
it.
Yeah, you must.
Yeah.
But I can really relate to some of what you went through. I mean, maybe not the crazy part, although I am crazy, but I never really had to get Khalees on anyone. But I will say that I feel like finances ruin relationships, and I've seen it happen so much. And honestly, that definitely was the ruination of me and my baby daddy. So, I mean, I have 2 kids, kind of said that in a few of these episodes. And my daughter I had when I was, just turning 19, and we didn't last a year, her dad and I. And it was because he didn't want to walk through that employment door either. Basically, he was one of those like wannabe Diddy kind of dudes who was like, I'm going to have a clothing line, but then I'm going to drop a mixtape, and I'm going to do this and that, all of which are producing no money, which all seemed glamorous when there were no children involved. It was like, oh, yeah, my man's about to be a star. And then once I have a baby, it became like, wait.
How are you going to pay for diapers?
Exactly.
Right.
And then I'm doing all this, and then he's going out at night with my car, by the way, that I had the only hoop ride. Like, pieces of it would fall off at the,
Shout
red
out
light.
to that hoopty.
Exactly. And it would be like, do we need that? No, let's keep going. But listen, it got me where I needed to go, and my daughter at the time. But yeah, I mean, basically, he would take my car and go out all night long saying he was at industry events for a business. I'm doing air quotations here. And meanwhile, he'd just be partying, smoking, drinking, and then come home when it's time for me to go to my real job that was putting food on the table and, covering the rent and bills. And it was probably like 2-3 months of that before I was like, you know what? I deserve better, and I don't want my daughter growing up seeing me putting up with this bullshit, thinking that's what a man is. So he got to go.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the end of that. You know what? My daughter, so for me, once I lose respect for someone, and I kind of think everyone is sort of built like this, but people have different
levels.
Points, levels, then there's no turning back. So like for me, it's over with me before I tell you it's over. Like I really tried, but I grew up with very close to my dad. Like anyone who knows me knows my dad. Like he's really like, and my parents are still together to this day, as dysfunctional as they may be. So I didn't want, that's another episode, but I didn't want to not give my daughter that experience. I tried to hang in there for that. But when I kind of realized that it was toxic, and to be honest with you, everyone in my family sort of withdrew their support because they saw that by helping me, they were enabling him to know when I had to stand on my own 2 feet and see him for who he was, it was a pretty quick decision to make.
Right.
We had such a rough time over the years. I mean, he was very angry with me. Think deep down still might be a little bit.
Really? Why?
I guess I was supposed to put up with his shit.
Well, he thought wrong.
Right.
You met your husband how far after?
Probably like a year after we called it quits. But it wasn't, and it's funny because he's over the years told stories to my daughter that basically I ditched him for my now husband, and even my husband is like, by the time I came into the picture, your father was long gone. I mean, and it's interesting, and I mean, look, I know, so again, I relate to you, Cherie, in this way, because I know that his heart is good. That's the crazy thing, right? But for some reason, he could never, like, get it together. Like,
You dodged a bullet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's how I feel.
You hit the Matrix on that shit.
Yeah.
Chips.
I literally, I definitely did.
I'm surprised it's only the new baby and Bree.
Right.
To be honest.
Well,
which is good.
It is good.
For what it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, yes. But for what it's worth, now that Bree's older, she's seeing all of this shit, though. And she's
Bree's
like,
Mary's oldest.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, Bree's my oldest daughter. My only daughter. Woof.
Yeah.
Hope that wasn't a Freudian slip. But yeah, basically, she's seeing this and she's processing it. And I do worry about what seeing an unreliable, like unstable man as your dad does to you.
Right.
I mean, he, not for
I'm
nothing, when
terrified of
Drake
that.
had dropped that little line where he was like, I've been ready since my dad told me he was coming to get me and he never showed up. My
That
daughter
line
was like, I
always
felt
broke my
that.
heart. Yeah.
And like there were times when my daughter, like he used to stand her up constantly, and then I in turn spoiled her because I'd be like, "Who cares if you didn't come? We're gonna go like to
Ice cream. And
right,
everything.
exactly,
Chuck E. Cheese.
exactly."
See, that's something I'm terrified of. That's why I'm honestly, another reason, I know it's going to sound crazy and probably fucked up to some people. I'm honestly grateful that my baby daddy's not around.
Oh,
And I will
wish.
say that I was that child that had a baby. I mean, that had a dad that wasn't consistent.
Yeah,
in
same
my life.
here.
I
Same
was the
here.
one waiting at the window, like okay, looking at every car and
Yep.
every black car that I thought was his. I would say, "Oh, he's right there," and then translating that, being an adult or even a teenager, like I was vulnerable or I just was seeking a man's love when I shouldn't have as early as
You did.
yeah.
yeah.
I did. You know what I'm saying? With boyfriends and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then what I went through, and I won't get into much detail, but
Right.
you trust in people, right? Seeking that father figure.
Right.
And I was taken advantage of sexually at 12 and at 4, and like it really hurt me. So I feel that, you know,
but at those
having
ages, that wasn't you seeking that at those ages that you got taken advantage of. That's not what that was at those ages. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
at
you're,
4,
you're naturally
you wasn't.
seeking love at those
Yeah,
ages.
but at
It's a
4, you
natural
wasn't
way.
seeking love from a father to the point where you put yourself to be vulnerable. That
Right.
wasn't. That's
It's
not how
true.
that played out.
But mentally, you know, when I was going through the thing at 12 years old, I said, okay, this is like, it was a brainwash. It was
Right.
really something that was really fucked up. As an adult now, I understand that, and
Right.
it took a lot of healing.
I just wanted to say that to you, just not to cut you
nah,
off, to make
thank
you
you.
feel like you're not blaming yourself.
Yeah,
That's what
no,
I
I-
wanted to make sure I.
As an adult
put in there,
now,
yeah.
I understand that now.
Yeah.
But when you're going through it, again, when everything came out at 16, it's like, maybe I should have done something else. Maybe I shouldn't have
course.
worn short shorts.
Yeah.
Can you imagine my daughter who's 13 wears short shorts? And we shouldn't be thinking about that. You should
Exactly.
be living life.
Exactly.
But that's the brainwash. That's the fucked up shit. That's not having a good example of what a man is. You know what I'm saying? And it's either you take your child from that situation, you try to protect them as much as possible.
Right.
So that's why I say for you, you're doing what's best for your baby.
That's what I'm.
That's basically
And
what it is.
praying.
I was-
And we feel all that.
Yeah.
We feel, kids feel that. I'm not a kid anymore, but I'm just saying children feel everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was the same as Crystal. I mean, I know that I talk to Mary often, kind of like, oh, don't worry about it. Bree's going to be okay. And Bree just kind of like letting you know as a result of someone whose father was constantly MIA. Like, there were times that I thought my father was dead. Because it's
Yeah,
like,
I still
damn.
think my dad's dead.
I'm like, I
damn.
haven't heard from that man in like 3 years. I wonder if he's still breathing and like running around. And then he'll just like out of nowhere, like, hey, surprise, like I'm here. So like that, like even with my relationship with my baby daddy now, like it was like the
Has that
struggle.
influenced that? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. And we both come from fathers that were like
Broken.
completely horrible. Like with him, it was like he told me one day he went to see his father. He was like 16, and he heard people behind the doors. He approached the apartment, and then when he knocked, it was like everyone went silent, and it was like his
Stop.
father, like not trying to like not be there.
Pretend to be
Pretend he
not
wasn't
be home.
there.
That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
So like that, he still remembers he was like
That's so
16,
shitty.
and after that, like so we both come from fathers. So it was like those relationships really like we struggled about at the beginning because it was
Yeah.
like
you were trying to
figuring
heal
it out.
You guys
Yeah.
were two
Yeah.
broken people coming
Yep.
together, seeing different things from your
and
childhood.
then being young
And
parents
then
on top of
expecting
that.
Right.
something from this other person. You're expecting them to heal you, and we
Yep.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like as an adult now, I've realized, my partner's not here to heal me.
Yep.
Okay, he needs to find his own happiness. I need to find my fucking own happiness. So
And
when
then
we come
bring
together,
it together.
Yeah.
we're whole. Like
Yeah.
looking for him to satisfy something, I'm always going to be disappointed.
Yep.
He's always going to be disappointed. But that
Because
shit
people-
took years
People
to
like
realize.
to say things like, "Oh, you complete me," and I read something a long time ago that was like, "You shouldn't look for someone to complete you. You should be complete first and find someone
Yeah.
who's gonna compliment you."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah.
But they should complete the rent.
No, that's
Their
That's
portion
a
of it.
fact.
Their
real.
portion of it.
That's
Yeah.
a fact.
Half of the bills.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
like I'm not, and I have to tell you, my stance on that has changed from when I was younger. You could call me a gold digger, whatever the fuck, but show me the money, like
Right,
for
right.
real. If
There's
you
nothing
don't
wrong
have
with
it,
that.
bye.
Yeah, because I could do
Stability.
bad
It's
by
true.
myself.
Yes.
Like, look what I
Yes.
do now.
Right.
Like, I'm holding everything down by myself.
Yeah.
What the hell would be the point in having a man step in to not assist? I don't need dick that bad.
Right.
Word. Get a toy.
Or then
bitch.
if it's dick, then let it just be dick.
Yeah.
And
There should be a
but
whole
that's not your
show.
man.
See,
like,
but you guys are like in the clear. Like, you all don't know how annoying it is. Some guys just don't want to just be emergency dick in the glass. They're like, what? I'm not a
this
piece of
bitch
meat.
said emergency to
No.
glass.
No, I'm not a
Wait,
piece
you
of
like-
meat. You know what I mean? They don't like
Are you
that. They want to
serious?
feel. They want to feel some kind. Yeah, dead ass girl. I used to mess with this one dude. Honey, this was eons ago. He used to hide my drawers so I couldn't leave his house.
what?
You're not gonna sleep over? No, bitch, we ain't camping. I'm leaving. What the fuck you mean, man?
Oh my
Get
God.
out of here.
Wow.
Fucking earrings would come up missing. It'd be
Oh,
one
that's
fucking
new.
earring.
I know.
That's
Fucking
kinda
call me
new.
like, you left your earring. No, dickhead, you hit it. It's a big ass difference.
I feel like back in the
Wow.
day, everyone was scared of dudes like hitting it and quitting it, not like trying to keep you there
Times have
somehow.
changed.
I think
I
times
mean,
have
you know
changed.
what it is? Maybe
Yeah.
times have changed, but I know I'm a fun ass person.
Okay, well this is
It's
true.
like I'm fun as shit,
This
and
is
you get to,
true.
you know, like do it to me. Come on, why would you not?
The package.
You know,
Tara's the
Well, you know
package.
what? I have to give you credit because
Thank
for
you.
what it's worth, going through this experience with the person you had a child with, it doesn't seem like it's affected your self-esteem at all. Like you still know you're that bitch, which you better
Listen,
never forget.
I don't do this
Mhm.
out loud, like in front of people, but I'm literally dabbing in my head. Like, dab, dab, dab.
Like, go ahead, girl.
Thank you. I'm like, it took a little while for me to get to this place, but once I got here, I was like, I'm unpacking all my shit in this motherfucker. I'm rearranging. I'm staying here. Like,
Yeah.
This is me. This is what I'm gonna do. Perfect. I got this.
Yeah.
Cause that being sad shit did not help me. Feeling like, oh, I'm doomed or wishing things had gone differently, because I definitely blame myself at certain points with, you know, not allowing my daughter's father to come back to live with me after I gave birth. It was just like, dude, when you walk past me on my block with some girl holding her hand while I'm 9 months pregnant, you really think I'm gonna let you move back into my house 3 weeks later?
Yeah.
That's just
Whatever
wild.
crack you got, keep it to yourself, buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
That
want
shit
none
is
of that. So,
But I have to say, I did go through a period of kind of blaming myself and feeling guilty
Yeah.
and feeling guilty for having brought my child into this world. Kind of, I guess
I
hate
mean,
to
that was
say.
30
Can't control
something.
that.
Look
Yeah.
how, dude, you were young, but I just had my baby. I feel like that was another reason I felt so bad. I'm like, bro, how could you,
You
have
felt like
escaped?
you should have known better. At
Yeah,
this age,
you know what
right?
I'm saying? Like, I got my own place. I got a half-ass decent job. Like,
Yeah.
I don't rely on anybody. Like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I definitely understand. But
But I think whenever something happens, like you have any disappointment in life, you kind of end up asking yourself, like, how did I get here? I'm smarter than this. But I do feel like when you're young, you don't have time to dwell in that shit, right? Like,
Yeah, hell
I
no.
would have moments of breaking down. I'll never forget, like, I mean, so obviously when I made the decision to leave baby daddy, then everything was on me. But in a sense, it was empowering because it was like I knew everything was on me.
Right.
Like I wasn't expecting anything from anybody else. It was, you know. But
Yeah.
not to say that shit doesn't wear on you because
yeah, it does.
I'll never forget, like, I had a little apartment with my daughter. It was like, she'll still talk about those days. Like, she remembers it.
Aw.
And, you know, like, it was a sense of pride that I created this little cocoon for us to live in where
Yeah.
she was safe and where she wasn't seeing me taking care of anyone, being disrespected, being, you know, putting up with
Exactly.
any bullshit.
Exactly.
But I do remember I had to, like, go to the store or, like, go to the laundromat, which was on the same block, but, you know, when you have a baby or a toddler, which she was at that point, you have to bundle them up. It was winter. There was snow on the ground. I put the laundry thing in the back of the coach.
I remember this story.
Right? And then one of the wheels on the stroller broke. And
Oh.
it was just like clothes were falling out everywhere. I had no one to help me, and I literally screamed in the middle of the street, like screamed. And then my daughter, who must have been 2, turned around and looked at me. And in that moment, I'll never forget, I'm getting chills right now, I was like, I got to get my shit together. Like, it's like, you have 2 emotional minutes in the day, and then you have to be a G. Like, that shit is tenfold when you're young. Yeah. Because she was literally looking at me having a breakdown. And that might have been really one of the last. I mean, I randomly scream all the time anyway, so whatever. But
so that was a defining moment for you.
That was a moment of crystallization. Because
that's crazy. I remember the last time I cried about my situation, I was holding the baby. She was like maybe a month and a half, and she had been fussing a little bit, but she was tired, like fighting it. And I was just thinking about everything, and I just started crying, and I'm like, I did not want to be in this moment crying with my baby. And she's crying, and I'm crying, feeling helpless. And I looked down, and she had completely stopped crying. Aww. And she was smiling in her sleep.
No.
And I was like, I just started laughing. And, like, I just literally started laughing. Like, damn, bro.
Well, it kind
just
of
cried
like
your baby to sleep.
Aww.
Literally cried your baby to sleep.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, like, kind of just wearing, like, this kind of suit of armor where, like, you are kind of like a G. Like, I know with my daughter, to this day, even yesterday I was driving, it was just me and her, and she's like, it's interesting how she has, like, this image of me, like, you can do whatever you want, like, you can kind of, like, and even when I feel like myself, like, I'm kind of falling, like, my shortcomings, she's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, she kind of empowers me, and I'm like, man, she has, like, this image of me, and I know that is because of when I was younger, like, I'll be working and, like, taking her to interviews, like, not job interviews, like, if I was interviewing someone, because I in journalism, and she'll come with me. I'm like, oh, you're coming with me. And I would, like, tell the people, like, hey, I'm sorry, I have to bring my daughter. And she was great. Like, she'll be quiet. She knew, like, oh, my mom is working. And, like, just her seeing me in that mode, and, like, even now to this day, she's like, there's nothing you can do. And she's like, oh, well, so-and-so, like, she'll mention her friends who are kind of like, oh, they tell her, like, you don't know how lucky you are that your mom does this, and she could defend herself. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, man, like, what kind of image is this? And I feel like I have to live up to that.
Yeah, that's great.
So,
can I just add, though, that that's a huge difference that I've experienced between daughters and sons? Because I used to bring my daughter to shit with me all the time, and she would just be like, oh, this is cool. With my son, it's like he'd be Tasmanian devil tearing the place up. So
I can't do that with my son. Like, at all. Like, people don't even know I have a son. I'm like, yeah,
he's in the closet.
Because I can't bring him anywhere. So absolutely not.
I just feel like it's such a fragile thing, right? Like, your image to your children.
Right.
And I feel like the baby daddy drama, for what worries me anyway, is that it can go either way. And there was a period in time where my daughter, when she was like probably 10, 11, 12, did sort of blame me for why her and her dad weren't together.
Right.
Well, my situation, like, my daughter's father and I, when we were first starting, like, we would make up and break up, like, constantly. And there was a time when we were separated for, like, a year, 2 years, and it was, like, back and forth. And it was, like Crystal said, kind of like us finding ourselves, healing ourselves, because he went through his own, like, besides his father, he was locked up before we met. So he had, like, his own issues with getting a job was hard. Like, it was just so much between the two of us. And meanwhile, I didn't have none of that. I was in college. I was in a great college, wrapping up and doing my thing. So it was like, dude, you got to catch up to me. You got to, come on, I'm getting a job. I'm doing everything I need to do. But he was, like, falling short. He tried going to school. He graduated, did great. But it was like the whole job thing was just, for years and years, super, super hard for us. And, you know, like, it was just, he couldn't, like, it was hard for him to get a job.
But in your case, his intentions with the job was in the right place. It's just that he had struggles because of being locked up, which, again, we'll be talking about another time. How that kind of impacts family dynamics. But
especially
even
families.
for me, like, I'm married now, but it took a while for us to really get that smooth because there was a lot of growth on
like
both
financially
sides.
Or
financially,
you mean, like,
no, even him treating me a certain kind of way, or me treating him and respecting him as a man. Because then, remember, all that shit happened to me. And then I took on this crown where I'm like, I'm empowered. I don't need no motherfucker in my life. I could do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
I'm
you
successful.
Were proving it
I'm
too.
a Fordham graduate,
Yeah.
and I was doing it. So
Yeah.
you're coming. You need to. What are you bringing to the table?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't allow him to be a man, and I would talk to him in a kind of way. And he definitely checked me where it's like, at first I was like, who are you talking to like that? And we would fight.
You're
nah.
scaring me. I'm
Nah.
serious.
I remember those days.
You remember? We would
remember those
literally
days.
fight in the street.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then I realized, like, what is it? Like, why are we fighting so much? Who's really the one who's... And I'm like, damn, I'm not really letting him be the man in the situation. I'm the man, woman, and the man. Like, there's too much going on.
Yeah.
So it took a while for me to be like, all right, what does he want to do? Even with parenting, like him telling my son to do certain things. And I'm like, I would talk over him and be like, Jason, I'm like, whoa. And he would pull me to the side and be like, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not letting him be a dad now.
Yeah.
So I'm not letting him be a man. I'm not letting him be a dad. And, I love my husband, of course, always. But I'm just saying I have a deeper appreciation for him now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brother Jay for
I'm
holding
my
it down
baby.
and being patient.
He
Some
dealt with
guys,
a lot. I dealt with a lot because he was
Yeah.
also a mama's boy. So I'm sorry, babe. I'm out there, but
Shout out to his mom. She's a great lady.
And it was a lot dealing with
Yeah.
mom and dealing with her having another woman come and take her son. Like we went through a lot. But there was a point that I was like, all right, now I was staying home and I wasn't the one working. And now my whole thing was like, when he comes home from work, I'm running to him like, how's your day? Like, let me live through you. And then I noticed myself, like, I was losing myself. And then I was being so dependent on him. And then he was getting comfortable and then treating me in a kind of way. And then we started fighting. So then the roles reversed.
Man.
And then I said, nah, I have to get this together. So we had split. Again, time is important. Separations at times is important for both people to heal. Like, we weren't together maybe 3 years ago for like 6 months. And we've been together going on 13 years.
Yeah.
We've been married too. So we needed that split to come back and realize this is worth it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of growth. Like, I can't say he's not my baby daddy. He is completely my husband. But there was drama along the way to get us to where we are now.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm finding to be really dope here is that Crystal and Carol, you guys both have these stories of the makeup to break up and then a happy ending ultimately.
Well, we also did speaking of therapy, like we did couples therapy for a while.
Okay.
Because it was kind of like, we are not going to get through this alone. And so, yeah, kudos to that, to anybody that does that, because that really does kind of put a different, like having a third person that can kind of see even your body gestures. Like she would notice like, oh, you're kind of shifting when you're talking about that, or like kind of noticing your own things, like kind of puts a lot of things into perspective.
That's important.
So, yeah.
It's really important.
I feel like there's such a stigma about therapy among minority communities. I feel like it's starting to go away a little bit now, at least from what I've been seeing people on social media like saying,
oh yeah,
shout out to my therapist,
yeah,
and, but I feel like up until probably recently, people were like, therapy, no way. Like,
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been in therapy since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And at first, I was upset, and I don't know why I was so pissed with my mom, but I was just like, I'm not going to therapy. I'm not fucking crazy. And she was like, it's not about crazy, number one. Number two, yes, you are. You're my kid. Your ass is nuts. So it's like,
After you said it was.
I'm like, fuck it. But, like, over time, I started seeing other people feeling like, oh, like, kind of, like, taboo about it. I was like, fuck, what's the problem, bro?
Mm-hmm.
You need to work some shit out sometimes. Like, and honestly, my therapist puts a lot of things into perspective for me.
Without the bias. Like, sometimes, like, I would call my girlfriends when me and Jay would fight, right? And of course, my girl's like, it's okay, girl. You're going to be fine. Da, 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 da. What did he do this time? And I'm like, damn, this is what it is. She's over
you go
here.
complaining. Like, it's
exactly.
like
and then we go back. And then we look crazy because we're back with the same person.
Right.
That,
Listen, but
so
you
many
know
things,
me,
the
I'm
bias.
like this. I came to your house ready to fight that day. And what I did when y'all made up, I gave him a big-ass hug. Bro, what's good? You know? So,
I can. You really showed up to fight her husband.
yeah, I had my sneakers and my Yankee fitted and all
Yeah,
that.
we've been
I
through-
pulled up.
We've
That's
been
my
through it.
sister. What's up?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I pulled up.
Yeah. I mean, listen, sidebar to that, though, venting to girlfriends does get a little dangerous. I mean,
yeah, we
Yes.
can't.
Yeah.
That's one thing I could tell the Yum universe. Please, like,
Yeah.
all my girls out there, try to work it
Write
out.
that shit in a journal.
Word.
Right. Well,
Exactly.
or
Or just
maybe a
talk it over
therapist.
with your
A therapist.
with your partner. Try as much, but not when you guys are in the moment. Oh
Right.
my God, this was another thing that I had that we both had an issue with. We always would yell and try, or I would try to make the situation better in the moment of arguing.
Yeah.
And it's like we're both not listening to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we needed that space separate so that we can cool down. And I'm a Libra. I'm like, no, I need balance. I can't go to sleep mad at you. Having that space.
What's his sign?
Taurus.
He's a Taurus. That motherfucker's
I know.
stubborn.
I know.
Woo! And he's full of himself
We
too.
are.
But I have to say, so my husband's also a Taurus, not to get all astrological, but Carolina is also, yes.
I'm
So
a Taurus.
one day she will probably read everybody's
I
charts.
Oh, we
You
should
could
have
probably
a
hear her.
show
on the side
just
down
for
for
that.
that.
That would
Oh
be
my
dope.
God, I'm so
Okay,
down.
but
So
bringing
into
it
that.
back, yeah, I mean, I feel like my husband's a Taurus, but I think it's also a maturity thing because he's 6 or 7 years older than me, and I'm the one that's kind of like, well, fuck you then, and he'll be like, we don't speak to each other like this, and we don't, and I'm like, okay, now I just feel ridiculous,
Right,
But-
right,
but,
right.
yeah,
You
he's
gotta
always-
feel kind of like, damn, like when
Right,
you don't
like-
fight into it.
Like get
I'm
mad
just
at me.
being an asshole
Right.
now.
Oh,
Thanks.
that's good.
Yeah, but so there's
Yeah.
some benefits to having an older dude, but
I'm 7 years old. Well, not me.
Younger.
He's 7 years older than
Oh
I am.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I had
and
a
is
way
he
older
the
dude
one that'll
before.
make
Oh,
you?
He's
Tara.
actually, yeah, he's matured like
Let's talk about
pretty.
granddaddy.
I'm the one that I've gone crazy.
Oh no, what? Girl.
So Tara was dating some dude, and
Every like 40 something years
at the
older
time
than me.
she was
Oh,
yes.
damn.
wait,
He
40
was,
years older
he
than
was like
you?
in
Or-
his 60s.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you laying that down?
boned him
Let me-
because
let
How
me-
are you laying that? Girl,
let me
please.
break
If
He
this
had
down.
gray pubes. Like, how did
Stop.
you do that? I'm just saying. I don't know. But
Well, for me, when I first met him, first of all, I didn't think he was his age, right? Because, they say black don't crack. He didn't look
Okay.
fucking
Oh,
60
okay.
anything, you know what I mean?
Okay.
He had some little swag with him, you know what I mean? And then,
Alright.
like, his
Know what I mean?
kids were, like, a little older than me, too. Like, I thought his daughter was my age, and she's like, no, bitch, I'm 40.
What?
Oh,
Damn.
That's a lot of good black.
shit. But, like, yeah. I
When
dealt
she
with
showed
some-
him us, I was like, "Oh, are you happy? What he doing? He a sugar dad? What he taking you? What he buying you?"
I mean, I think that people come into your
She
life
loved
for
him.
a reason and a
Yeah.
season. Yeah, I really did love him.
Mhm.
But contrary to what he may believe or say, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know why. This is so
I wish we had a pit. No, I'm joking.
funny. Go ahead.
In the
we
moment-
might have to pull him up real quick.
oh God.
No.
In the moment when we were together, I did love him
Mhm.
very dearly because I was ridiculed horrendously by my silly ass friends.
But it was all love, though. We
Mhm,
just didn't know
Crystal.
Yeah.
how it worked.
All right. Well, love is spiritual. We'll just
Yeah.
keep it at that. But yeah,
It was just not as how you described, like mature. Like
Right.
that
Yeah.
just wasn't our.
wasn't it?
Wasn't that?
Well,
no.
I will say, since we're all confessing and sharing shit, after my horrible experience with my baby daddy, I went through a phase where I was like, I'm not dealing with these young dudes anymore. I'm going to find me older, sophisticated men. So I went through a little phase right before I met my husband where I was dating older men who were sophisticated or whatever, had money. That was code for that, in case you didn't pick it up.
I was just thinking gray hair.
Right. No, they did not have gray hair, actually.
Oh, okay. See, I'm glad you
Um,
clarified.
Probably his hair club for men or some shit. But, and there was one guy that, like, he wanted the relationship to go somewhere. And my parents, who probably will never listen, so I could say they were horrible for this, were like, oh, money is the fountain of youth, Mary. You should, like, go, Anyway, so basically, I don't know. I didn't necessarily feel like I connected so much with him. But the moment where it all ended for me was, and I'm a major hip hop fan, all that. I got Tupac on my shirt right now. And basically we passed by, like, there was like a billboard of like Big Pun or something. And he was like, oh, isn't that guy Biggie? And that was at the end.
Go.
Yeah,
What?
literally in that moment, I
And
was
the
like, this
relationship
cannot
is
work
over.
anymore. So,
Whoa.
yeah. Then the guy after him was also 20 to 25 years older than me. He was an attorney, whatever. He was cute, though. And he basically told me that he didn't believe in monogamy, but this was like, a few months in as well, kind of.
That's how they set it up.
Right. And I swear to you that he picked up the phone one time when I called him, and I swear to this day I still believe that he was boning some chick when he picked up the phone. Like he was he sounded out of breath. I don't know. He just sounded like a man who was in the middle of something.
I'm
and
just
I was
glad
like,
I was never in these kind of situations.
Right.
I would have been like, oh, yeah, can y'all write me from jail? Like,
Right.
I would have never survived
You told me that story, and I was traumatized.
right.
I think every time I heard someone like even huffing and puffing, I'm like, are they having sex?
But you know what? But you want to know what? That's actually happened to me before, where I literally was taking a nap, and my ex called me, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, bro, I was asleep. What the fuck are you doing? He thought I was like having sex. I'm like, you've heard me
All
having
right.
sex.
So maybe he was asleep. I
mean, I'm not defending this guy. I don't
swear,
know.
I think
I feel like people who don't believe in monogamy have like some kind of other shit
Right.
going on with them anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Not
okay
defending.
because it led me to my husband. But yeah, I was like,
Yay.
so the moral of that
Fair
story was like old dudes that have money like are no good. I think.
Keep your old ass away from me, damn it.
Right.
There's
Yum,
a
don't
time,
do
time
it.
period. There's
Yeah.
a time period.
Yeah. So.
Especially if you want like a long-term relationship, because if
Yeah.
they are telling you they don't have a family, you can't trust that too. So there's a lot of
Right.
stuff that you need to look into.
There
and then
is.
if they say they're gonna leave their wife, girls, come on, they
Yeah.
would have been left their wife. So think
But-
about all that.
One theme that I'm kind of seeing here is the baby mama. What am I saying? Of the
We are the baby
mama's
mamas.
boy thing
Oh.
here. It seems to be a common denominator among the dudes who
Little
we all
Cherie,
kind
right.
of
Yeah.
feel like don't have it together.
It's like they
It
don't
takes
have
a
it
little while.
together, but they kind of do. Like you just want to grab certain parts. Like
They know better.
They
You know,
like
they
you
know
just want to
better.
like just knock a little bit of the nonsense out and put this in, and you're perfect.
Right.
Hmm.
You know.
Eh.
They love their mom. They treat
So
their
they
mom.
Because then
treat
you got to
you
deal
well.
with the mom.
Oh, I
Oh yeah.
she's not gonna listen to this, but like,
So we could talk mad shit.
Yeah, I went off when I went pregnant. She tried to, in lieu of her son, she tried to be that woman and tell me what I should do, how I should act. Oh my, Cherie, you never know. You know, God forbid something happens. You know, take him now because what if you die? What if he dies and you know?
Take him where? To court?
No, just take him as is. Take him as is.
what does that
Like
That is, I'm sorry, that is fucking horrible
What?
advice.
yeah,
that is
she
fucking
and then
horrible.
gave me all of the stories about her friends that wished, oh, she just was waiting for the perfect man, and then she finally got it, and then they died. That's like, look,
Like this
That's-
is like worst
I'm not
case
gonna settle.
scenario.
I'm not
That's
gonna
I
settle.
feel like
No,
people
Yeah. I'm not
gonna
automatically
settle.
jump to that, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I hate when people jump to like the worst fucking alternative to what you're going through. Like, why would it be that? What the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, why would it be that? Why wouldn't it just be, oh, you know what? Instead of him like taking a little while to get his shit together, he gets his fucking shit together, or I just wind up with somebody that I don't have to worry about this shit
and I
with.
say
Yeah.
it just like that. Like I'm in sales, so I'm really good at conveying my point across.
Right.
I said, look, you presented yourself to be A, B, and C. You decided not to do A, B, and C.
Right.
And now the contract is now null and void. If I decide to leave, it's not my fault.
Yep.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And we were super close. Like I was, because she's the owner of the office or whatever, because it's a family business. I was in the business. I mean, like we literally would go shopping together. We were on trips together. And I was like, if you love me so much, why are you not helping your son? And then when I mean, you know, to get it together, and everything was an excuse. Well, he's trying. And what it really is to this day is that he is her support system because she's not happy in her own relationship. That's the real.
Yeah.
That's the real thing.
Okay.
No, don't feel bad for her because she has like
I mean,
a
the way it came out,
husband.
that was like mad sad.
All right.
Shit.
She has a husband.
Emotion turned off. You
Yeah.
know, I feel bad.
No, she has a husband and others.
Okay.
Well,
Like
mothering
when we get into situations, we
Yeah.
don't realize that, you know, when the mom is involved in, you know, situations, sometimes the mom's not there, but we're not only getting a relationship with him, it's
Yeah.
a relationship with
The
the mom. Because when we have
family.
kids, it's important because you want them to be present, but then you're a new mom. So me as a mom, when my boys come and have kids, I may be a little hands-on as well. But girl, listen,
Crystal,
you already know. I know.
I know I'm gonna have to.
Well, we need to have a show just on mother-in-laws.
Absolutely.
Right.
So let's
that's
like
like a whole.
I love my mother-in-law, but again, it was a relationship. It was a work in progress, and even till this day, you know, we have a really good bond. But we want always to, you know, grow stronger, and then ultimately for the kids. That's really what it is.
Exactly.
But we have personalities.
I don't know about you guys, but I could talk about baby daddy drama all day. Like, I'm just getting started.
Shit, you and me both.
I think this is just like the top layer of how deep we can go.
Yes. I mean, one thing that I do want to add, though, and to be continued after, is my baby daddy's mom, right? So this is for the mother-in-law show, but she basically talked me out of taking my baby daddy to court.
Oh,
What?
girl,
Yes.
what?
And to be honest with you,
just
that
put
is
my
one
hair
of
that
my
way.
life's biggest regrets.
Yeah.
Because to this day, I still like get no support from my daughter.
Thank
and I've
God
done
you
I'm
met your
sorry.
husband.
Wow.
Right,
Thank God
exactly.
for that, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But on that note, we got to go pick up our damn kids. So.
Yes. I
Shout
miss
out
my
to the
baby.
Yums who's out
Yes.
here being entrepreneurs and, you know,
Yes.
try to still have their own life. So we will catch you soon. I am Crystal Mestrez Bishop.
And where can we find you?
Crystal Mestrez B on social media, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff.
And I'm Miss Mary Almonte across all social as well.
Tara Dion PR.
Sorry. Cordelia C. Howard on all social media.
And Carolina Pichardo at C Pichardo everywhere, all social.
And keep living that yum life.
Absolutely.
Hashtag yum
Yum
life.
Love y'all. Follow us.
Yes.
Subscribe.
At young urban moms everywhere.
Yay.
Call the Reynolds. It's a wrap.